Welcome back to another edition of the Gabagools Podcast. I'm your host, Jeff. With me today, as always, the Cuzzo Dan for episode 74, I believe. Did we say 73 was last week?
Are we 74 now? Is this number 74? Let me go ahead and write this one down
I think
here.
so.
Number 74. Wow. I tell you. Seems like everyone's, doing some podcasts nowadays, but let's just go ahead and throw this out there. 74 pods. Most people don't make it to 74. I would say most people make it between 4 and 7. To make 74 of these, I'd say we're doing something right. And sooner or later, we're going to be profiting off this.
I hope so. I'm doing as much as I can to, market it. So
just be aware of that. We're going to start getting bigger and bigger, and then people are going to be like, "Oh my God, I know these people." And then that's where it's going to be scary, because then it's going to be like, "Oh my God, we need merch. We need,
Well, we need to get the merch out anyway. It's just more or less just like deciding what I want to give us for that, and then because I know T-shirts and koozies and stuff like that.
Easy.
Yeah, we'll start with that. But yeah, it's more or less justifying it.
I've got one for you. I got two actually for you. How about notebooks for your boy and pens? Those are a couple other good ideas, right? Maybe you're writing something down. You got the pen. Oh my God, Gabagools have pens now too.
The Gabagool pen.
Whoa!
Salami flavored.
Hey, the pen could look like a piece of salami.
That would be pretty cool.
That'd be awesome.
Anyway, let's jump into, I don't know, the weather's nice and cool out. We've had that nice 60 or 50 degree days. So I think the fall has fallen, which is good.
Yeah, it's been nice. I had to break out the pants the last week or so for work. So usually when that time rolls around, it's a little bittersweet, right? I'm not more of a pants guy. I like to have the shorts on with the short sleeve shirt. But again, this time of the year, not bad. Another couple of weeks, you're going to be putting on the heavy jackets, and then after that, you got to wear the long underwear, and then it's just no fun.
Exactly. But that being said, this is a rare day in sports. It's the sports equinox, is what a lot of people call it. It's where almost every major professional sport is on. We have the NBA tonight. We have NHL. We have the World Series. We have Monday Night Football. And then I think we have Major League Soccer has a couple playoff games. I don't know who the hell's playing. Don't ask me. But either way, yeah, sports equinox today.
Boy, that's a full slate. If you are a total fan of everything you just mentioned there, and you have to work today, I'm assuming there's more than a few people that said, you know what, this is my March Madness, this is my day, I'm calling in. I don't even know what you start. I mean, I know you got different start times. How do you even decide if you've got 4 or 5 different sports going on at once? I mean,
I would imagine most of them are this evening anyway, so, hit up the local dive bar. Hopefully there's more than one television there. Go to a B-Dub, something like that. No free ads. But yeah, it's nice though, because YouTube TV you're able to kind of pick and choose the games now that you want. They're getting a little bit better with the split screens. But yeah, good day for sports.
Very good day if you're a sports fan.
Let's jump in. Quick hitter with the Blackhawks. Week in review. They had a big game the other day against the Anaheim Ducks, and when I mean big game, they just won in overtime, 2-1. Donato looked pretty good. Spencer Knight, we got him for that Seth Jones trade last year. And it's looking really favorable because we get a first-round pick on top of him. And Spencer Knight, his save percentage and everything that he's been doing is kind of making him look like a top 10 goaltender. We've mentioned him in the past, and, obviously you want to have a good goaltender that helps. And if he can be our goaltender for the next 5 to 6 years, and you know what, this team is I kind of said before on previous podcasts, maybe 3 years away from really competing. They pretty much took that and said, shove it up your ass, and we're going to go start competing now. Granted, their schedule hasn't been awfully hard, but they sure as hell are making a statement that, this isn't the same Blackhawks team as the past.
And this has been this sort of malaise, if you will. This has been going on the last few years for Blackhawks fans, right? I don't. When was the last time we were in the playoffs?
2016.
Yeah, so it's been more than a few years of kind of going through the motions, trying to find some guys. I mean, it looks like we've we've hit on a couple of people. So hopefully, you know, it's always good when that. Like I said, I've mentioned this before. It's always good when the Blackhawks are good. There's a lot of hockey fans. It seems like. I mean, I was never into hockey, but I'd show up to school or whatever, and you see all the jerseys on, and you're like, Jesus Christ, where the hell have I been? I didn't play hockey growing up. I don't get it, but
Yeah.
it seems like our city's better when the Hawks are better.
Absolutely, and in the same breath, the people that they share, the team that they share the United Center with, the Chicago Bulls, they tipped off this week too. They're 2-0. How about that? The
You
game
know,
one, or I think it
yeah,
was like last, maybe not game one. I think this is game two on the 25th. But Bulls beat the Magic 110-98. Josh Giddey scored 21, and then Vooch still on the team. I don't think he'll end up. I mean, if he gets traded, it'll be for a bag of balls and a Snickers bar. But he had 15 points too. So. It's nice to see that the Bulls are at least starting off good. I mean, I don't expect very much, but with the young
no,
core, at least they're taking a step forward. Bazulius, I can never say his name either.
I can't say it either.
And I'm one of these days on the podcast, I'm going to look it up and be like, okay, this is how you actually say it. But he's been solid. I don't know. I don't get too hopeful with the Bulls just because if they don't have that, the problem is you need one of those big stars in the NBA to be dominant, and I don't. Yeah, maybe not. Knock on wood, not yet. They don't have it. I mean, Kobe White, Io DeSumo, Mattis, like we said, and then Josh Giddey. It's a fun team. It's a fun team for
Yeah,
sure, but still a lot to go from there.
yeah, definitely little star power lacking, if you will. But
Yeah.
you know what? The Bulls, man, it's been the same thing with the Bulls for I don't know how many years now, where we've been in that 9-10 seed kind of just like stuck in the mud there, and that's no fun to be in that. I'd almost rather just be really bad and have a better chance to win the lottery or something. And this 9-10 seed the last I don't know 3-4 years, we get our asses kicked in every other game. Um, yeah, I don't know. I mean, Vooch. I liked Vooch when we brought him over here. He hasn't been the same guy for whatever reason. I mean, he was an all-star for Orlando. You mentioned we played Orlando. I like some of the young guys Orlando has. So for us to take a game for them, whether it's at the beginning of the season or not, is always good. We still have Billy Donovan, right?
Yep, Billy Donovan's
Yeah.
still a coach.
I like Billy too. It just, for
I
whatever
always like
reason,
him
we
too.
have not been able to really do a whole lot there. I don't know if the drafting hasn't been as good as we've
No,
needed it to be, but
definitely not. I mean, some of the young stars are kind of coming into their own. Kobe White obviously has been in recent years. Io DeSumo has
yeah.
been solid, but I mean, we'll see. We'll see what they end up doing. Oh, 25 World Series going on. Toronto versus the Dodgers. Game one, Blue Jays took it. They absolutely crushed the champs. 11-4 behind. 9 runs, sixth inning. First pitch hit. There was a pinch hit, grand slam. I think it was the first one in history by Addison Barger.
Yeah, Maria likes to call him Burger.
Yeah.
Easy nickname there.
Yeah. Jake. There was Jake Berger too. He played for the Sox for a little bit.
Yeah, first pitch hit, grand slam, I believe, in World Series history. So
Yep.
pretty crazy. You think you've seen it all. I think they said it was like the 701st career World Series game or something like that, and it makes you think, right? 11-4, Toronto. I mean, so that game starts out right first inning, and you've got Blake Snell on the ropes. You've got the bases loaded, and they end
Yep.
up not getting anything. I think the bases were loaded with less than 2 outs too, and they get nothing. And you start thinking once that inning ends, you're like, man, Toronto kind of, you let them off the hook there a little bit there, and you feel like you should have cashed in a little bit there, and that could have hurt them. Toronto, LA hits a solo homer. They're up 2-0 through the first couple innings, and you're thinking this is the recipe for the Dodgers to win, right? They've got a good offense. Their guys are not hitting that well. Their big three have not been nearly as good as Toronto's offense has been. So it was. I mean, for Toronto to win one of those games at home is huge. Savage, this rookie, has made like 7 or 8 starts for his career so far. Only went 4 innings, but only 4 hits, 2 runs, 3 walks, 5 Ks. Pitched pretty darn well. Springer, Barger, Vladdy, and Ernie Clement all had 2 hits each. We had Alejandro Kirk with 3 hits. It was an offensive onslaught, right? Toronto came out, showed us what they can do, and I'm hoping for a little bit more of this in this series, right? The bats went a little colder in game 2. We'll get to that in a second, but
Yeah.
the 11 runs in that first game was like, okay, if we have this, let's go.
Yeah, I was watching it. So I don't know if you like what I do. What usually when I'm watching games is I'll probably put it on my laptop and I'll watch something else with Allie, just so we can still have conversation and still watch something else that we want to watch. Because for me, I actually this might be a weird thing. I don't know if other people do this too, but I usually don't listen to the broadcast at all. And maybe that's why I just kind of watch and I just think for myself. Sometimes I'll have if I have the capabilities to do it, I'll put it on the sound on. But yeah, a lot of the time I watch without sound. So I don't know if there's people out there who do that, but I remember watching the game, and all of a sudden I look, I'm like, oh, the bases are loaded up, and then I think they walked in a run too. I think that happened, and all of a sudden I'm like, I saw the score jump up. I'm like, holy shit, they just scored 9 runs in that 6th inning. But to your point, your boy Trey Savage, you need to get his jersey or a jersey for that because you talked that guy up, and rightfully so. He was drafted 20th overall in 2024, and his journey too, I'm sure you saw it, is pretty interesting. He went from single A to double A to triple A, pitching in the majors, in the playoffs, and now he started game 1 of the World Series. Talk about a fast track, through the majors. And I think that's what people need to, not you people, but that's what people need to do. These teams need to stop oh, we're wait. I hated that excuse before with because this is when Kopech was coming up for the Sox. They would just oh, we got to save those bullets. We got to save. What I mean, I know that the minor leagues you can kind of space out their starts a little bit more, and the travel days are different, but why are we wasting them? I hate that excuse. If my pitcher, if Paul Skeens throws 100-something miles per hour, I want every single one of those bullets being used in the MLB. There's nothing you can learn more in AAA than you can in the major leagues, in my opinion. Yeah, is there some mechanical stuff you could do throughout the minors? But that's my perspective. I know that's probably wrong, but there's nothing that grinds my gears more than wasting arm talent in the minors. And then what's going to happen? Okay, they come up, they make 2 starts, they blow out their arm or elbow, and then they're back down in AAA. It's a tale as old as time.
Yeah, talk about saving bullets, right? You're just wasting bullets. It seems like at that point. Um,
Yeah.
you know what though? Yeah, it's been a hell of a ride for that kid, and you know, I think I've mentioned this before on the pod, but I had him in 1 or 2 leagues. I know I had to trade him in 1 league
Yeah.
to try to put myself in better position right there at our trade deadline. But when I traded him, I was a little upset because I did think that he was pitched pretty darn well his entire minor league career, which was very short. But he rose through the ranks. You
Yeah.
got to give Toronto credit because they had guys that were pitching well, but this kid came up and filled the spot and was pitching a little bit better than some other guys, and you nailed it.
Yeah, I have to laugh too because you see guys like Chris Bassett, old friend alert there, former White Sox. And then I'm trying to think of who else Toronto has that's coming out of the pen, but some of those big name pitchers in years past, they're the ones that are coming out of the bullpen, and it's not it's not these young guys, and they're giving the young guys the chance. So hats off to Toronto for developing them. Nice to see Bo Bichette back out there too. We didn't mention that,
Yeah.
but yeah, jumping into game 2. I think a big thing is the complete turnaround too. But another pitching gem. Pitching has been great in this series. Outside of that, the starter Blake Snell went great game 1. Game 2, Yamamoto, another complete game, 4-hitter, gave up that 1 run. I think it was in the 1st inning, but my goodness, has he been as advertised for the Dodgers?
Yeah, I mean, complete game. You nailed it. 4 hits, 1 run, no walks, 8 Ks, 105 pitches, 73 for strikes. So that tells you he's efficient. He's in the zone, and he's getting you to swing at stuff.
Yeah.
Probably a lot of strike ones to start the counts. As a hitter, when you're behind 0-1, you feel like you got to expand or you got to swing. And Yamamoto we know that it's crazy. The last couple of years we've had. I know Otani's been here for a few years. Darvish came over, I think, just before him or a little before that, and we've had some really, really good players come from the Japan League. But um, you got Otani a few years ago, who let's face it, it took Otani a few years to really become the guy he is now, but he's on another world. You've got Yamamoto, who is a legit stud. He's become an ace over there, and they've got a bunch of other aces. And then you got Sasaki, who really didn't do a whole lot of anything this year. They have him down in the minor leagues. Then he comes up at the end of the year, starts pitching pretty well out of the bullpen. Um, the Dodgers have done well on the international market, is kind of what I'm alluding to there. But the complete game in today's game is unheard of. You don't see that. And then in the playoffs, after you've thrown 150, 180, almost 200 innings or more now, it's unheard of. Very efficient. This is the thing that, as a fan of the sport, you don't want to see, because you don't want to see the Dodgers win. But at the same time, you do want to see it because it's just so few and far between nowadays. So you got to tip your cap to Yoshi. He was awesome. And this is the type of thing they can do every couple games. Glasnow's going tonight. You're not going to see him probably throw a complete game, but he's, in my opinion, I think he's got like the best stuff of those guys, which is scary because you've got Snell and Yamamoto who can throw 8 and 9 innings, and then you got a guy who's maybe has the best stuff going, and then you have Otani still.
Yeah, that's the crazy part. Yeah, you got Scherzer versus Glasnow, and you look at it, and at one point the Rays, I'm pretty sure, had Snell and Glasnow on the same team, which is just funny that they continue to filter all the way over to the Dodgers.
Yeah, I mean, well, kudos to Tampa for doing what they do, right? They just keep churning out a bunch of good players. That's what you do. You got to, that is a huge part of our game, is draft and development. You can draft guys, but you got to get them up and they got to perform. And Tampa does probably one of the better jobs of it in our sport at identifying talent through the draft, and just guys on clubs that maybe do something well. They go over there, they do it better. So.
And you know what? I think something can be said too. What the Rays do, they kind of get rid of pitchers specifically before they get hurt, or the fall off happens. And to be honest, I mean, Blake Snell has never pitched as many innings as he has ever in his career. I think leading with the Dodgers. They're kind of letting him finally pitch deep in the games, but he was hurt most of the year. And in Glasnow, I think he tore. He needed Tommy John, I believe, like a couple years ago, and then this year I think he had a shoulder issue or some other injury, and he was out for most of the year too. I think we said it before. These guys were fresh going into the World Series, and even the postseason. So, a couple starts, maybe even one on short rest, but. Good for baseball that we get to watch it, but bad for the fact that the Dodgers are doing what they're doing, essentially. So,
and I really quickly want to give my love a little bit to Kevin Gausman. I mean, he battled, he pitched really well in that game
he
too.
did.
He's pitched pretty darn well this whole postseason. He went 6 2/3, only 4 hits, 3 runs, no walks, 6 Ks. The 2 homers, I think, came back to bite him a little bit. But when you're facing a guy that goes a complete game, that's pretty tough. But he's pitched his tail off for them, and you come up a little short sometimes. And then game 1, Otani, Betts, and Freeman, 2 for 11, 2 RBIs, 3 walks, 4 Ks. How about game 2? Otani, Betts, and Freeman, they had to have done better, right? No, they didn't. They were 2 for 11 again, 2 walks. Will Smith was the big guy in game 2, went 2 for 4
He's been
with 3
insane.
RBIs. Yeah, he's and I thought he fractured his hand at the end of the year, and I'm like, okay, this actually could be big because he's the catcher. He might not be able to play, and lo and behold, of course, he's out there getting hits, driving in runs, and so much is built on the big 3 for them. Mookie's had a down year. I know he had that issue with the weight at the very beginning of the year, but he's had a bit of a down year for him. Freddie ended up having a solid year, but maybe slightly down. And he still had a pretty darn good year. Otani, we all know what he's done. 2 for 11 in the first 2 games each of the World Series. They're lucky they've walked away with 1 win.
Yeah, I mean, I think tonight's a big deciding factor. I think if Toronto goes down 2-1, it's going to be very difficult for them to come back. Granted, those bats seem to get hot at the right time. This is one they need to pull out because it doesn't get any easier against Ohtani tomorrow. I think it's in LA. Scherzer needs to, go pitch his tail off. The funny thing is, Scherzer in his career at this point, too, it's so hit or miss. It's either he goes out, maybe pitches 5 solid innings, or he gets lit up in the first 2 innings, and then, that's it. But, yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens, but let's go Toronto.
Let's go Toronto. Hey, and you know what, Toronto, you got the bats for it, but be a little patient. Glass now could tend to walk some guys, take a few walks, get the big hit or two. Get them with the slices. I forget the expression, but death by 1,000 cuts or whatever, right?
Yep, I remember that one.
There you go.
All right, let's jump into the NFL Week 8 in review.
All right, we're jumping in. Week 8. Some highs, some lows this week. I see you've got your Jets hat on. Probably a good week to have that on for you.
Victory Monday.
Victory Monday, that's what they say. What do we do? Cuzzo, we start every week with
the fastest 2 minutes.
The fastest 2 minutes. We were looking for the answer was Thursday night, but that's all right. And we start with the Chargers and the Vikings. Chargers look like the team we think they should be. Chargers 37, Minnesota 10. Dirty Birds fly too low in dolphin-infested waters. Miami 34, Atlanta 10. This one I kind of was like, I don't know if you're going to, I'm sure you'll get it, but all right. Good Tyler Hunting.
Yeah, Goodwill Hunting. I like it.
Yeah, okay. Baltimore 30, Bears 16. This one you'll like. 23 points in the fourth quarter, secure first win for, say it with me, Jeffrey, spell it.
Jets, Jets.
There you go. Jets 39, Cincinnati 38. 19 carries, 216 yards, 2 touchdowns for James Cook. Bills trample Panthers. Buffalo 40, Carolina 9. Big game from Stroud. Maybe gets Houston back on track. Houston 26, San Fran 15. 3 touchdowns has Drake May looking the part. New England 32, Cleveland 13. 5 touchdowns between Hurts and Barkley should win you most games. Philly 38, G-Men 20. Saints are bad, and the kicker is the star, in my opinion. Tampa Bay 23, New Orleans 3. Indiana and JT continue marvelous seasons. Indy 38, Tennessee 14. 4 tutties from Bobo give Broncos 6th win. Denver 44, Cowboys 24. Jordan loves Tucker Kraft. Packer 35, Steelers 25. And we have the game tonight, Washington at the Chiefs, 7:15 p.m.
Be there, be square. All right. Jumping into the Thursday night game. I think that display that we saw from Justin Herbert just shows his capabilities once again of just being a top 5 quarterback. It's the consistency for him. That's what he needs. He needs to be more consistent out there, but to obviously destroy and to win by like 27 points is destroying someone in the NFL, but to put up 3 touchdowns, it was a well-rounded game. Herbert had the 3. Vidal had 117 and 1. That one hurt. I dropped him in fantasy a couple weeks ago to go pick up like Sean Tucker, not thinking Hampton was going to go down, and lo and behold, he did. So lost him in the bidding war, but he's looked good for them. Ladd McConkey finally got back to being kind of the number 1 there with 6 receptions, 88 yards, and a touchdown. And then, kind of the breakout star with for the tight ends is Rondé Gadsden II. 5 receptions, 77 yards, and a touchdown. He's pretty much blowing up the last couple of weeks. Like to see it. And then on the backside, I think we've seen enough of Carson Wentz with the Vikings. I think as soon as J.J. McCarthy is 100% healthy, I think they throw him back into the Wolves and see what they have out of him.
When is that? Is that this week?
Uh, I think so, maybe. I think they might have a bye week coming up. No.
Oh boy. Yeah, I've been hurting in my one league, um, where I had Captain Kirk, and I had him come back this week, and he didn't really help me out too much. But
Yeah.
yeah, I've been waiting for McCarthy to come back. I mean, Minnesota. I didn't know what to expect from the Vikings this year. At least just from our division, I felt like Minnesota was clearly the one team. If the Bears had a decent year, maybe we could be better than them. But they're still not a bad team. They've won a few games. You still have potentially the best receiver in football. Um, Hawkinson doesn't get used, but he should be. I don't know what the hell's going on over there with that. Um,
Yeah.
but the Chargers, again, this is a team that should be looking like this more. They've been a little up and down the last couple weeks, so this could have been a bit of a get right game. I don't know. We'll see. But
Yeah, I guess JJ McCarthy was practicing today. Carson Wentz wasn't, so it looks like he is going to be returning probably this week. But we'll see what he even
excellent.
does. I mean, game 2 he didn't look very good,
No,
and honestly, for 3.5 quarters, he really didn't look good against the Bears either in week 1.
very true.
But we'll see what they do to turn it around. Now another turnaround. Holy crap! Did Tua go off this week? 4 touchdowns passing. I did start him in quite a few leagues this week. You couldn't ask that much more of him. Obviously, he got the one to Waddle, Malik Washington, Devon Achane, and Ollie Gordon all scored receiving touchdowns. Uh, yeah, I mean, they destroyed the Falcons that were without Drake London and Michael Penix. And I'm sure Drake London, I mean, I'm sure he was banged up, but my goodness, he probably was like, okay, Kirk Cousins is out here. I'm done with this. Let me go sit on the bench for a week until Penix is back. Uh, pretty much all he did was feed Kyle Pitts that game. Bijan Robinson only had 25 yards rushing. He had 23 receiving as well, but he did virtually nothing this week, too.
Yeah. Yeah. Tough week for Atlanta. You didn't have your guy out there, Kirk. Boy, I was hoping and praying that there was going to be something left in the tank, or and you know what? He didn't have London out there. London's the number one guy out there. When Kirk was out there last year, I think he was feeding him more than anybody else. So that definitely had to hurt a little bit. But yeah, he didn't do a whole lot of anything. So
Nope.
not great.
No. Moving into the Jets game, obviously the sad news too was Nick Mangold passing away from the kidney issue that he was dealing with. He needed a donor, and he's a rare blood type, so couldn't get it in time, unfortunately. So I hate to see that news, but it was a game that if you're a batter, you definitely wanted to take that one, because you'd hope that the Jets would come out, pull out a win. In memory of Nick Mangold, because he was really young when he passed away, obviously, and he's a focal point of that team. Obviously, last year he had his ring ceremony for like getting his number retired. I don't know if they retired his number or they just put him in like the Hall of Fame of like the Jets. Sad once again, sad news with that, but. In the brighter side, the Jets did get their first win. No 0-17. Guess we'll have to wait another year for that one. Breece Hall carried the load. 2 touchdowns rushing, and then he had the 1 passing touchdown to Mason Taylor on a trick play for the win. If you saw that clip, that was insane just because I don't think it was supposed to transpire like that. I think he tried to get rid of the ball into the back of the end zone, and Mason Taylor was just bullied the DB and got it. But hey, I'll take it. A win's a win. Justin Fields, obviously, if you saw during the week, Woody Johnson pretty much said put all the blame on Justin Fields. Fields came out in that post game discussion and pretty much said this week was rough. And he went out and shoved. I mean, 21-32, 244 yards, 1 touchdown passing. Had a 31 on the ground, but no turnovers, and he spread the ball to 9 different receivers. So, I mean, I'll take the win as they come. I mean, that was without Garrett Wilson, no Sauce Gardner either. Got Quincy Williams back, that was helpful. I don't know. Is it a thing? A turning point of the season now? You win for Nick, and then you go from there. Get a couple of wins. I mean, you're still going to be picking probably top 5, but. It's nice to get one. As Kevin Malone would say, it's just nice to win one.
Yeah. I'm sure that had to feel like that. I looked it up. I was like, wait a minute, the Jets won. I was expecting another loss. I have one
And they
stat
came.
for you.
Yes. Go ahead.
Since 1960, there's 5 teams that have gone winless. Do you know? Can you name any of them or 5? All 5.
There's 5 of them.
There's 5.
Browns and Lions in recent memory.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have the other ones. I know those 2 for sure, though.
Okay, so you had going all the way back to 1960. You had the 60 Cowboys. You had the
Okay.
76 Buccaneers, the 82 Baltimore Colts, and then the teams you
Okay.
mentioned, the '08 Lions and the '17 Browns. So you guys
Well, I'm
were
glad that the Jets.
you made about half the season interesting. Now you got your win, so you're good.
Yeah, exactly. Got my one. So now
There you
they'll
go.
probably pull out a couple other ones. The
Yeah.
team just looked like they played well together. I know that they might. I don't know what their plan is at the deadline. I know there's been a lot of back and forth about Brees Hall getting traded too, just because his contract's up soon. Unfortunately, with these GMs and coaches, once it gets down to a point, they're like they want their own guys in there. Running backs are a dime and a dozen. You can always find them pretty much anywhere. To the quality, though, you never know. Brees Hall, got hurt and really never bounced back fully from that ACL tear. When he was carrying the Jets in 22. I think we're gonna, as long as he's a Jet, I think we're gonna see it going forward the next couple weeks, where you see him just continue to roll. They do have a bye week, I believe, next week. Now let me double check that. But either way, even if they don't, it's one of those things where we'll see what happens after it. They do have a bye week next week, so we'll have to hold up and see in a couple weeks to see what we get out of the Jets.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Oh,
We'll
also,
see.
yeah. What was it? A 19-point comeback in the fourth quarter too?
Yeah, I mean, when you score 23 points in a quarter, that's enough to win you a game. So,
I'd hope so.
yeah, you know what? Good for them, right? You got your win. We'll see how many more you can get for the rest of the year.
Yep, exactly. Moving into a team that also kind of sucks. Cleveland Browns and New England Patriots. Patriots might have turned that corner, and they might. Is it too early to say that Drake May might be the best quarterback of that 24 class?
God, that first thing you said there about Cleveland being a bad team, I thought you were talking about us. But yeah, Drake May. God, I wanted to get him as I wanted to get him just to see. I felt like New England has been able to figure something out with they had Brady. Maybe he was a diamond in the rough, but I felt like Drake May might have been able to do something. I would have loved to get a share of him in a league, and
Might be too late now.
yeah, definitely. He's looked good. I think that's their 6th win, if I'm not mistaken. They're
It
a good
is.
team so far. I have to look at their schedule. I don't know who they've beaten. I don't know any of the good teams or halfway decent teams they've beaten, but there's a couple teams that I'm looking at right now that I wasn't sold on being a playoff team to start the year at the Colts and the Patriots. Those are 2 teams that, it's taken a few years for the Colts post Peyton to really get something over there. Hey, they got something going with Daniel Jones and JT this year. And then,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's, God.
So they lost to the Raiders week 1, and then in week 3 they lost to the Steelers, but they've beaten the Dolphins. They beat Carolina. Here's their quality win was against Buffalo on that Sunday night.
Oh, that's right. They beat Buffalo.
But then they beat the Saints. They beat Tennessee this week or last week, and then they beat the Cleveland Browns as well this week. So, I mean, they have a pretty cupcake schedule going forward. I mean, Atlanta's not super tough. Tampa Bay is so banged up. You don't know what you're going to get out of them. Got the Jets on Thursday night. Bengals, Giants, bye week. Buffalo, Baltimore, Jets, Miami.
Whose schedule is this? New England's?
Yeah, New England's cupcake schedule, in my opinion.
Wow, they might not lose a game for the rest of the year.
It's very possible. Maybe to Buffalo. Maybe to Buffalo. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure Drake May had like 2. I know he had at least 2 touchdowns in the second half, but because I was playing against him in I think 1 or 2 leagues, and I'm like, oh my god, dude! Like, I had Tua going off for 4 touchdowns, and I look over, I'm like, god damn, Drake May, he's going off too. He spread the ball around. I mean, Keyshawn Butte has been pretty solid. Diggs he didn't really do much, but he got a touchdown, so saved his day. Henderson finally got going, 75 yards, but nothing really mentionable. Browns, Dylan Gabriel fed his tight ends. We forgot to mention it was National Tight End Day yesterday, so it was pretty funny to watch all these tight ends score a touchdown. And it might have been kind of a fun bet to do. It would have been throw like anytime touchdowns on some of these tight ends, but Brown's very bad. Judkins ended up getting hurt. He was only 9 for 19, which is very low for him. They come into a bye week, so he should be good in a couple weeks. But yeah, Patriots are looking good. Unfortunately, I hate to say it.
Yeah.
Next game, Philly and New York. Obviously, Cam Scattaboo had that horrific leg injury. He'll be out. I think it was like a leg dislocation or ankle dislocation. So he'll be out a while. So I think we're going to start seeing the fun of the Giants kind of start kind of going down now that, you lost Neighbors for the year. Scattaboo's gone for the year. It's going to be all on Jackson Dart to see what he can do, and the poor guy isn't going to do very much with that surrounding cast. So we'll see. I fully expect Dable to get fired.
Yeah, the Giants surprised me the last few weeks. They've been playing better, but now that you lose Scatterbo and Neighbors is out,
And then, back on the Eagles, obviously, Jalen Hurts threw for 4 touchdowns. Saquon, he always shows up against the Giants, rushed for 150 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah.
This was all without A.J. Brown, too, so I thought that was kind of funny. But Dallas Goedert got his on tight end day. He had 2 of them. Eagles are another team. I think, obviously, they can cakewalk into the playoffs just based off of that division. We'll see what ends up happening with A.J. Brown. I don't think they're going to trade him, but if it's not this year, it'll probably be during the draft.
Yeah, I mean, he's a diva. He's a diva.
Yeah, I mean, all of them are. Moving into the Buffalo Bills and Carolina Panthers, Andy Dalton got the start, and I think we've kind of seen similarly to Kirk Cousins, that wasn't going to go well. Buffalo absolutely throttled them. Josh Allen had his 70th career rushing touchdown, which is crazy. James Cook ran for 216 yards and 2. I've never been more wrong on a bust candidate for fantasy football. I really didn't think he was going to go off like he did, but man, he's having a hell of a year.
He is. Buffalo's having another very good, strong season as we expected them to. It feels like the last year or two, it feels like Buffalo's been trying to lean on the run a little bit more so Josh doesn't have to do as much with his arm. And when you've got a guy out there who can do what he did, I mean, he had 19 carries and over 200 yards. That's a pretty good average. And he got in the end zone twice. So anybody who had James Cook on their team this past week, yet again, you did well. So
yeah, I think in our league format, because we get the half or we get a quarter of a point for attempts. He's been going nuts. He put up 50 points this week. That being said, though, let's move into rip the Band-Aid off with the Bears and Ravens. This was a winnable game. They should have won it. Offense faltered again. Caleb Williams hasn't really looked good the last 2 weeks. I don't think he's thrown a touchdown pass. I'm going to fact check myself on that one, but hasn't really looked too good. They kind of leaned on the run last week. This week, the run game was working and they abandoned it. Don't know what the hell happened. And then, Tyler Huntley and the Ravens kind of took over. He only had 1 touchdown rush passing, but, when you give him good field position, Derrick Henry got the 2 touchdowns in there. Bears defense is undermanned with the DBs. I know that, but that defense just got gouged again. And then when, you're 3 and out, they got to figure it out. I don't know what I don't know what's going to take. I mean, you're in year 2 with Caleb Williams. How many more excuses are we going to make for the guy? I think that's the problem. I'm a Caleb fan, but I mean, I'm running out of things we can do. I mean, he should be making these throws. He had a bad interception to Nate Wiggins. I don't know. Once again, winnable game. I don't know if Ben Johnson can fix it.
Yep. I mentioned this, I think, last week. These next 3 weeks were crucial for our season. We were 4-2 going into that game yesterday. Felt like if we could win without Lamar without Burrow next week, and then against the Giants, who now don't have Scatterbo. You felt like those were 3 games. With us winning 4 in a row, we had some momentum. We probably should have been favored in that game. We should probably be favored maybe next week. I mean, after losing, who the hell knows? But these are not great teams. The Bears are not supposed to be that great, but Jesus Christ. I mean, that's a game you need to win. And I know football is so up in the air every week. You can look great one week and really bad the next. And I don't know if the Bears have really looked that good in most of their wins either. So I think that has something to do with it. I don't know if Caleb's the guy. I don't know. I mean, he's got guys to throw to, and Baltimore. You can say what you want about them. They should have that score should have been flipped. We should have had 30. They should have had maybe 16. You can't be losing to Tyler Huntley. No offense to Tyler, but you can't be losing to him. So.
And that defense is shredded too. Like their defense was banged up too. So
yeah, they were getting
I don't know. Yeah, don't know how many more excuses you can make for Caleb anymore. You're 4-3. I mean, I know it was going to be a stretch for them to make the playoffs this year. Obviously, Packers have looked pretty good.
Yep.
Detroit's always there. Minnesota does show the bright spots, but yeah, I guess we have to see what we have going forward. You got to beat Cincinnati next week. Moving into a team that really has kind of turned it on as of late is the Texans. My goodness. C.J. Stroud has been so dominant in the last couple of weeks. He seems to be throwing 3 to 4 touchdown passes a week now. Of course, didn't start him in one of my leagues, but 2 touchdowns this week. Woody Marks and Chubb kind of been a nice, duo, I guess you could call it, in the background, little over 100 yards rushing between the two combined. No touchdowns, but without Nico Collins, you'd think, okay, maybe the Texans aren't going to be as good, but, guys are stepping up. Xavier Hutchinson got a touchdown. Jaden Higgins, one of their top picks, and then Jalen Noel seems to be that guy that Stroud just kind of leans on. So good for them on drafting those guys.
Yeah, it didn't look good for Houston to start the year, right? Those first couple of weeks, you're like, oh boy, this could be a problem for them. Stroud, is this his 3rd year?
Yes, yeah.
I want to say 3rd year, and I know the rookie year was great, and I think
4th.
last year was his 2nd year, and they definitely had that sophomore slump, and then just the first couple of weeks, you're like, well, was it a sophomore slump? Did he just have a really good first year? And like you said, the last few weeks he's been turning it on, so we'll see. We'll see if and when you get Nico Collins back. We'll see if that team can take off a little bit more.
Yeah, and on the flip side, San Francisco seems to just be so up and down. I know they're pretty banged up on defense as well. Warner being out, Bosa out.
Yeah, they're banged up every single year. When are we going to say that San Francisco is just doomed to be banged up every single year?
Absolutely, I agree 100%. Kittle came back, got his touchdown on the old tight end day. That was nice. I think Jake Tongs too, or Tunges, however the hell you say his last name, but he got a touchdown as well. Yeah, got nothing else to say on them. They didn't really do much against the Texans. Another game that was super boring to watch on the afternoon slate was the Tampa-New Orleans game, but Baker did all he could with what he had. I mean, Tez Johnson and Amika Ibuka were kind of his only guys. He didn't throw a touchdown pass. They relied heavily on Sean Tucker to kind of between Tucker and White, but Tucker had the touchdown out of the 2. It was a kicking game, as you mentioned. New Orleans got so tired of Spencer Rattler that they put in their backup, Tyler Shaw. We'll see what ends up happening. They both looked equally bad. Obviously, neither of those guys are the guys for New Orleans, so they'll probably be drafting a QB with their first overall pick. Olave and Shaheed did everything that they could as well. Other than that, defensive battle, Tampa won on that one.
I just got one thing for you. Your buddy McLaughlin had 3 50-plus yard field goals in that game. So
wild. Moving into the other game, that was kind of surprising, and their record surprises the hell out of me too. Denver being 6-2 now, 44-24 over Dallas. Prescott threw 2 interceptions.
Tough game.
Javante was kind of their offense. Two touchdowns. Pickens and CD had basically identical statistics for the week, both 7 receptions each, around 75 yards total. I mean, combined, or yeah, total each. But on the flip side, Bo Nix, 4 touchdown passes, lit it up. J.K. Dobbins rushed for 111 yards. R.J. Harvey got a couple touchdowns. That was nice. And then Troy Franklin kind of emerged as, maybe a solid number 2 wide receiver in Denver. And then who knows with Cortland Sutton? I know they signed him, but Troy Franklin kind of breaking out there with the 2 touchdowns, and then Pat Bryant, the rookie, got a touchdown as well.
Yeah, I know you're not super high on Denver, but 6 wins already at this point in the season puts you in line to have a good chance of making the playoffs. So we'll have to look next week at their schedule and see who they have to play the second half. But if they've got another 2 or 3 easy or winnable games on there, this might be a playoff team.
Yeah, I mean, the AFC West is super tough because you got the Chiefs still surging. Chargers are a little bit up and down, but they're definitely a team that you could watch. Should be interesting. Yeah, next week let's make note of that, and we'll try to kind of review back and see like what needs to happen for them. I think they need to beat the Chiefs, that's for sure. But moving into a team that surprises everybody this year, the Indianapolis Colts, 38-14. I don't know if it's just because Jonathan Taylor got them fresh legs back and just showed what he did prior to the last couple, that he is that guy. And he's been all over the place. 2 touchdowns rushing, 153 on the ground. He did get a receiving touchdown as well. Danny Dimes, man, talk about just leaving a bad toxic system in New York and going somewhere else and just being good. And then Michael Pittman had a pretty big touchdown out of the wide receiver USC Trojans. It was a pretty cool touchdown. You should go look it up. It was like a one-handed contested grab. Josh Downs had a touchdown, and then Indianapolis's defense is good, but Tennessee's just putrid. Poor Cam Ward.
And he actually didn't have a bad game. He threw for about 260. So, I think he had a touchdown. So he's doing about everything he can. I keep looking up every single Monday morning, and I look at the scores, and Indy is scoring some of the most points every single week, and it shocks me week after week more and more.
Yeah.
We knew Danny Dimes, he had a few good games as a Giant, right? But obviously it didn't work there, and he goes over there, and I did not know what to think with the Colts. I mentioned this with New England as well. I did not know what to think of these teams. Drake May, I like, but it's like, who is he throwing the ball to, and how's the rest of their team? Same thing kind of with the Colts. I know that you got Pittman over there. The Colts with Jonathan Taylor, you hit the nail on the head there. He's having just an excellent, excellent year. They're just scoring so many points that these other teams they can't hang.
Yeah. It's been insane just because they seem to score every time that they're driving down the field. So good for Jonathan Taylor to have that resurgence.
Got a little Lola
right.
sight in here.
Lola alert. Last game of the night, we have Green Bay taking on Pittsburgh. Aaron Rodgers took on Green Bay again. They ended up losing. Jordan Love threw for 3 touchdowns, and tight end day once again. We're bringing it up. Tucker Kraft goes off for 7, 143 and 2. He was always kind of projected to be. I know, no kidding. Oh man. Christian Watson returned from his injury. He went 4 for 85. Josh Jacobs got a rushing touchdown, but he was not the focal point of that rushing. Emmanuel Wilson, I think that's his name, went 11 for 61. So kind of a split carries. So that was kind of surprising, but didn't really need to when Steelers did almost virtually nothing. Rodgers threw for 2 touchdowns. DK and Roman. No, the run game was almost not there either, but can't really run too much when you're getting kind of smacked around.
Yeah. God, I feel like we've been talking about Jordan Love not being as good as the contract he got, or as good as maybe we thought he was after his first year or something. But then he comes out and has a big game, and you're like, okay, well, is this the guy we're going to see more often now? And Green Bay, I think they've got one loss and they got the one tie, so that tie is going to come in handy at the end of the year. I've already said it. If they keep pace with Detroit, it's going to be very, very interesting end of the season. So, um, unfortunately, as a Bears fan, I have to say we will see what happens with the Packers, but they're just there every year, and it's just more and more annoying every freaking year.
Every year. Yep. And then obviously you mentioned tonight's game, Washington at Kansas City. No Jaden Daniels. It is Mariota time, so we'll see what ends up happening.
Yep, Kansas City's going to win this game tonight.
Yep, I believe it.
And I think this is going to be an ass kicking
All right,
too.
I think we can close out there.
Yep.
Oh, ass kicking. There you go. I think it will be too, to be honest with you.
One of those.